What's up everybody, Mark with Coffee&Toys here, bringing you another figure unboxing and review. And today's review is a special one, brand new action figure line coming to my collection and first time doing a review on them. So I'm super stoked, I hope you are too. Today's review is none other than the new Indiana Jones retro toy line. Specifically, we are going to look at Indiana Jones, The Adventures, Short Round, Indiana Jones Wave 2 retro line. Let's talk about it. So yeah, Indiana Jones was a line produced by Kenner back in the early 80s, and it didn't last very long. I think it was only 2 waves long itself, and I never had any of the figures. I didn't even know anybody that had the figures, but I loved Indiana Jones as a kid and still today as an adult. So of course I've seen the Wave 1 retro figures in stores, and I've been swayed by some of the negativity that some reviewers have against these figures not being close to what the originals were, or having differences, and some of those differences are significant, and just hearing that stuff I didn't want to pick it up. However, when I saw these 2 figures on the shelves, I was like, okay, this is the next wave of figures, and it'll be fun maybe to pick up a couple of these. And I later found out after picking these up that these are not just retro versions of a figure produced in the 80s. These figures that I'm going to review today were never actually released. So these are retro inspired, I guess would be a better word for them. Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, Short Round, and Indy. So I was like, yeah, these are really cool. I think I'll pick these up. And then I looked on further, and I think there's going to be a Henry Jones Sr. and Sala, I think is going to be ones. I think there's going to be more figures that were actually never produced in the original Kenner line. So, I'm looking forward to these guys. I hope you are too. Well, let's jump over and look at them right now. And here we have them, The Adventures of Indiana Jones, and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones figure and Short Round figure. Now, just right off the bat, these are those same type of very flimsy cards. I mean, they're kind of flimsy. They're not the best. But they are definitely an homage to those Kenner figures back in the 80s. But like I said, these figures, as far as I understand, were never actually released in the 80s. So these are like what you see when you see the Star Wars retro figures of like the Inquisitor and figures like that have never actually, they're not retro figures, they're retro inspired. That's exactly what these are for Indiana Jones. And of course, you've got the classic logo. You've got the border that looks like the hieroglyphs, easy for you to say. And you've got your figure in its plastic bubble, very reminiscent to what you would have picked up on the shelves in the 80s if these figures had actually been around. Of course, we have a portrait of Indiana Jones. We have a portrait of Short Round alongside their actual figure in the bubble. Ages 4+. For you that are very young watching this, you shouldn't be watching this. You should be playing outside. I don't know. But anyway, flipping them over, they both have the same thing on the back, I believe. And it's just you can see how warped these are, by the way. So they just have a picture of Indiana Jones and Short Round for this particular wave. And yeah, got your legalese, your different languages. Nothing super exciting on the back, but it is nice to see that they do have both figures shown there. Very cool. But I think that's really about it for as far as the artwork and the outer box is concerned. Let's go ahead and get these guys off the card and start seeing what they're really all about, because I'm really excited. Real quick, one thing I forgot to mention is that I didn't realize that the bubble is almost completely off of this card. So I don't know if that's just I got the bad pick of the draw, or if that's just actually an issue. But if you are a mint-on card collector, in addition to the cards being flimsy, you might have that potential issue. So just wanted to highlight that before I opened it up. So here we have it. We have Indiana Jones and Short Round out of their packages, and these are just fun figures. And I'm glad I got them just already because they will fit well with my other retro style figures that I have on my desk, my work desk. Actually, I have a whole bunch of retro Star Wars, and then I also have a couple of the the Marvel figures that are supposed to be retro inspired. So, but here's Indiana Jones, and of course he has that action where you can make him. This is on the original figure, the original retro Indiana Jones, and the Kenner figure. He could do like a pistol action. That was supposed to be him doing his pistol. Here it's the opposite, and he's supposed to be slicing with his machete. And of course, he's got the light tan pants on. And I don't know if this is the same mold used again. I'm assuming it is since it has an area for the bullwhip. But what's interesting is that the holster is kind of done differently. And I'll show you in a minute because I'm pretty sure the machete fits in there. But of course, it's a, 5 points or 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of articulation. This one action it has. And yeah, I mean, this is what you get. It's a cool, fun approximation. Of course, you have the, Vietnam 2023 Hasbro SA, and then some random number down here. And then as far as short round is concerned, of course, they've made him to scale so that he is, being a child, he is shorter than Indy. But he is very cool. I like the look of him. Extra, plastic molded on there, which is very cool. Of course, he has no action feature. He's just a standard 7-point articulation figure with the elbow or the arms, the legs, and the head. He has no knee. Actually, he has no knee joint, so he's a 5-point articulation. So interesting. But yeah, doesn't have his logo on his hat, but we know why he doesn't have that. And I think he has his information on his legs. Same thing, Vietnam, Hasbro SA, and then some other information. And then this really dark number that I can't get. Oh, there it is. Not sure what that is. But they both each come with an accessory. So we'll start with short round because his is closest to me. Short round has his torch, which if you remember from the movie, is what he uses to snap Indiana out of his hypnotized state. And of course it just snaps in either hand. It fits well in his right hand. And I imagine also fits well in his left hand. Yes. And so there we go. He has his torch. And as I mentioned earlier, Indiana Jones comes with his machete, which will fit into this hand, which is actually cool that they actually put the tape on the hand as well. But it'll fit well onto this hand. He says actually a little tight. Now these fingers are the plastic's very, very rubbery, so it fits in there very well in this case. And of course you just... What? Oh, folks, that was fantastic. I just shot the machete across the room, so wow. I guess he doesn't hold it that great. So give me a second to go retrieve that. Okay, and we're back. I guess we see why it's ages 4+ because, yeah, I just shot that machete across the room. Do not make that mistake. Let's see if I can do it again. Okay, now it's not doing it, so I must not have had it in his hand very well. And that time it just fell out because it hit against the holster. Of course, you could also put it in this hand, and you could just have him in a stance such as that. Now, like I said, it's interesting because this holster has a divot in it, and it almost looks like you could put this in there. Oh my gosh, yeah, look at that. So you can actually put the machete in the holster. Looks a little weird, but it does fit. So that's cool. And yeah, otherwise, there you have it. That's the Indiana Jones Retro Series Wave 2 Indiana Jones in short round from the Temple of Doom. What do you think? Is this something you guys are interested in picking up yourselves? Something you're on a pass of? They are $12 each, so they're not on the cheap side. But they are very cool, and if you're looking for something that's just an approximation of something you remember having yourself in the 80s, or you just like those retro-inspired, Kenner figures, I'd totally recommend picking these up. I think especially since they're both from the same movie, and them both being unique, they've never existed before. I think that makes them a really cool deal to pick up, and yeah. If you wouldn't mind while you're at it listening to me ramble on and, throw machetes everywhere, go ahead and like the video. I think the knife getting thrown's worth a like. And if you really want to, subscribe, hit the bell notification because I'm doing reviews all week. I do have some more Indiana Jones figures coming up from the 6-inch line, so be on the lookout for those. And we're going to be doing that live stream real soon for the 500+ subscribers. Thank you all so much for those of you that have watched the videos, liked them, and subscribed. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. And I can't wait to do those giveaways. So, I'm Mark. This is Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.